Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Entertainment 411. My name is Marvin Caron. Every week, we bring you people who work in the entertainment industry, the best people. Our goal is to shine a spotlight on those who work in front of the camera and behind the scenes. Today on Entertainment 411, we are thrilled to welcome one of the most beloved and versatile and experienced people in film and television. From her unforgettable role as Mary, the mother in E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial, to her powerhouse performance in Cujo, Dee Wallace has left an indelible mark on cinema. Known as not only a celebrated actress and a true scream queen, we'll get into that hopefully over the course of the hour. She's worked with some of the greatest directors in the industry and continues to inspire fans around the world with her artistry, her authenticity, and her passion. We are thrilled and delighted to welcome with us today. Please welcome Miss Dee Wallace.
Hello, darling.
Hello. Dee, can I call you Dee or Miss Wallace? How do you want to be
please call me Dee.
Dame Dee or just Dee?
No, just Dee.
Just Dee. Well, it is wonderful to be with you. Wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just honored to have you here. Let's start with, I think, the question that I'm sure would be forefront in people's minds, maybe either justifiably or not. But I think so many people, the first thing I think of Dee Wallace is the mom in E.T.
Yeah, sure.
You've had such an iconic career from E.T. to countless horror classics. Let's go back to first causes. What drew you to acting? How did your acting career start?
You know, it was my mom. My mother, we were very poor, and my mother was a beautiful actress in community theater. And she also directed and produced all the religious plays at our church. And every Christmas and every Easter, she would do a half-hour reading at our church, and people from 4 states would drive to see my mom do this. And I was sitting in the congregation with my grandma, and I looked around at the end of one of my mom's presentations, and everybody was crying. All the adults were crying. And I thought, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to move people like my mommy does. And there you go.
Beautiful. That's where it all started. So yep. Did you get some sort of formal training? Did you go, where were the state that you were just talking about? Where were you born and raised? Where did all of that happen?
Born and raised in Kansas City, Kansas.
Kansas City, Kansas. Okay.
And my mother traded secretarial skills to get me dance lessons and what they called back then elocution lessons, how to speak properly, etc. Right. And the teacher would teach me short little readings, and I would go out and perform them. And my mom also got me at a very early age into modeling. So it was a real dichotomy of, how can I say it, just a good old Midwestern upbringing and being very comfortable in front of the camera.
And now I know you're speaking to us right now from Los Angeles. When did that move happen? When did you go from Kansas to California?
Well, I didn't. I went from Kansas to New York. I taught a year of high school.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I'm going to go to New York and be an actress. Everybody laughed at me and said, you don't know anybody. Nobody knows you. Who are you kidding? And I said, thanks for sharing. I'm going to go anyway. And in less than 7 years, I starred in ET.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well,
And
that brings.
that's one thing I want everybody to hear. You know, people who love you oftentimes will try to keep you safe by dissuading you from your dreams. Go do it anyway.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Great advice. So now I think I read in your bio, and you can confirm or deny that I think you were the most experienced actor in terms of the number of roles you've had, like 290 roles or something like that. So we can't talk about every role you've played.
I hope not.
Or we'd be here until next week. But can we, E.T., I kick this all off by talking about how E.T., that would have been the thing that sort of put you on the map. Would you agree? Is that sort of what?
Well, I would say that put me on the big map.
Yeah.
Or bigger map.
Okay.
But the Hills Have Eyes and the Howling.
Oh, that was before E.T.
Yeah. Actually, Stephen saw me in the Howling, and that's why he brought me in for Used Cars.
Oh, wow.
And I auditioned for Used Cars, but Stephen works very far ahead, and he already knew about E.T. and was creating some of the things for E.T. And I was the essence that he wanted for Mary. So when E.T. came along, they just called and offered it to me.
Wow.
Yeah, very Hollywood story, huh?
It is a great story. And of course, E.T., I mean, it is like Gone with the Wind or The Wizard of Oz. It is a movie that will be around forever. And it just resonates on so many levels. And you were like a central part of that. One last question about E.T., because we got so much to discuss, and I do want to move on. But are you still in touch with some folks, either in production or the actors?
The boys and I do a lot of conventions.
Oh, wow.
Together. We all went in and did Drew's show and a reunion for the 40th anniversary. So yeah, we stay in contact.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of my best friends are folks I've met on sets or in theaters rehearsing. So now I don't know if this question is going to resonate with you. It sounds like you left Kansas, you went to New York, you taught for a while, started acting, and boom, you were just a success unto the next generation. Were there any hiccups, any bumps in the road? And if so, how did you? No, it was just smooth sailing all the way.
I arrived about mid-August, and I got a part-time job as a receptionist for a while, and I went to an open audition. I met a guy, shocker, huh? And he took me to a Halloween party, and at the Halloween party, a bunch of his friends were there. Well, those friends ended up being the agents from Marge Fields.
Oh, wow.
Which was the biggest commercial agency in New York at the time. Okay. And at the end of the party, they said, Dee, can you come by the office on Monday? We think we'd like to work with you. And I said, okay, what do you do? So, you can take the girl out of Kansas, right? And so I went in and they signed me. And one of the very first commercials I went out on was United Airlines.
Oh, wow.
This is what I did. I was the friendship girl, but that Kansas smile, and made more money than I think my parents made in a year.
Yeah.
I felt like I had been transported to a new universe, but I was hooked. I still love going to the mailbox to see if there's a check in there. So I was off. I ended up doing over 400 commercials.
Oh, wow.
So financially, I was okay, right? But I wanted to go above and beyond. I was one of the final girls right before I went to LA for Equus.
Oh my gosh.
And then I found out you had to be naked, and my Kansas just wasn't ready for that. I thought, oh my God, my grandmother will roll over. So I danced my way across America in an industrial show for Cujo peanut butter, which probably nobody remembers anymore because it came and went. But I remember we had these hot pink satin, very high cut costumes on with these big eyes. And I can even remember, let's see, Cujo Peen with the cuckoo googly eyes. And so, industrial shows paid pretty well. And I got out here, and one of my friends who had been in Uta Hagen's acting class with me was already out here. And he said, Dee, I'll get you in to see my theatrical agents if you get me in to see your commercial agents.
Oh my gosh, how clever.
So we each got in, we each got signed. And then another one of my friends who was out here already said, listen, a friend of mine is directing The Streets of San Francisco, and they need a girl to open the show who can really pull up the emotion. And I remember you from class and how easy that was for you. So I did The Streets of San Francisco, and then it was like literally impossible to get on the lots.
Oh yeah.
So what I did was I baked a lot of chocolate chip cookies, which is what we did back in the Midwest when we wanted to meet a new neighbor or something. And I wrapped them all in cellophane, and it had about 10 different bags, right? And I went to the guard gate and I said, yeah, I've got deliveries. He said, okay, go on through.
Clever.
So I took them to the casting offices, and the last person I saw was Reuben Cannon, who was the head of casting at the time. And while I was delivering them, he came out and he went, oh, chocolate chip cookies, my favorite. Come on in. So I went in and we sat down, and he got a call from the studio lot. And the girl that was supposed to play the waitress was sick.
Oh.
And her scene was up next. What were they supposed to do? And he covered the phone and looked at me and went,
can you play it?
What size do you wear? And I said, what size do you need, baby? And I squeezed myself into that size 4 costume and did a scene with Barry Sullivan.
Barry Sullivan. So much to discuss. So after E.T., you kind of found a niche, if we can call it that, and I don't know how you're going to react to this, if you're favorably or not favorably. So Scream Queen, done a lot of I guess what do they call them, horror films or
horror films.
Horror films. Tell me a little bit about that. And
I didn't go looking for them; they just found me.
Right.
let me tell you, the first film I did was a religious film called
Oh,
All the
wow.
King's Horses.
Okay.
And then I went right into The Hills Have Eyes.
Right.
And then there were a lot of movies of the week, where I was the battered wife and all that emotional stuff. And then came The Howling soon after that.
Right.
And I really like horror films.
Yeah.
I do. I like the genre. They give you a huge arc to play. They give you a lot of emotional life to play. Now, I'm talking about a good horror film,
Yeah.
not slasher films
Yeah.
that
They,
we
they,
have today.
they speak to a fundamental, like elemental fear that we so often feel, and they just seem to address that in so many different ways, and with so many different approaches, I think.
Yeah, and we do that from the time we're little kids.
Yeah.
Every Disney film you see has a bad, evil character.
Right.
So that the kid in a safe environment can sit in the safety of his home and practice handling his fear. What do you think we as adults do when we go to watch all these end of the world movies?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. All of you should Google the positive effects of horror films.
Yeah.
You will be really surprised. They're good for your nervous system, good for your brain, good for your coping mechanism.
I mean, I think they might be the most popular genre. I attended some workshop, about so you want to be a screenwriter, and it was a guy. He hasn't done much, but that's what he said. If you want to do something that's going to get right out of the gate and sell, horror.
Yeah.
People will. There's a huge, voracious appetite for horror. Cujo, that must have been a fun and exciting project to work on.
No.
No?
Oh, it was the hardest thing I ever did in my life.
Talk to us about that. What do you mean?
Oh, honey, have you seen the film?
Yeah.
Every scene was, how do I break down? When do I break down? How much do I break down? I mean, and I'm working with 13 dogs played Cujo.
Oh, wow.
And a 6-year-old kid. Now, I have to say, I got up every morning and thanked God I got Danny Pintaro for that role. He was so amazing. But you're still working with the limitations of hours and a child actor that you have to be very protective of, at least I do.
Yeah, of course.
And dogs that you can't overwork.
Right.
So, I don't know if the public understands that every short hysterical scene that they see, we probably shoot 15 to 20 times. Now, your body and your brain don't know you're acting. Your body and your brain go through exactly the same chemical responses,
right,
as if you are truly in fight or flight. So after that movie, they treated me for exhaustion for 3 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
My adrenals were totally blown out, and it's my favorite film.
Your favorite film?
Yeah, it is. I just feel like I took my soul and threw it up on the screen.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very proud of my work in that.
Just hoping. I mean, you are so accomplished in so many areas. You're not only an actor, you're also a writer. And what is it? What kind of stuff do you write?
Well, all the books that are out now are based in my healing work, which is my other avocation. I'm a channel, a clairaudient channel, and I teach people how to consciously create their lives and take responsibility for creating their lives.
Wow. Now, can I ask you, how can we connect that to the acting career? Taking responsibility for your life. Actors, I think, a lot of actors, a lot of the time, will be kind of passive. They've got an agent and they let their agent, book them auditions and stuff. How can they use maybe the kind of channeling thing you're talking about, or can they, to proactively push their careers forward?
Sure.
Is that a possibility?
Well, let me just preface this by saying the good book got it right. As you believe, that's the life you're going to live.
Right.
So if you're not getting in your life what you want, look at the beliefs that were created for you and within you from conception to 8 years old. A child's brain is locked in to their belief system by 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you're taught, for example, how many of us heard when we were 0 to 8, you're fabulous, you're amazing, you're a life force in this world, you deserve everything you want, you go out and know how fabulous you are and let everybody know. Pretty much none of us, be quiet, sit down, be a nice little, especially women, be a nice little girl. God will love you more, and surely everybody else will love you more if you're a little more subdued. Well, when you subdue yourself, first of all, you cut off a lot of your joy and you hold yourself back. So consciously, you're saying, I want to go all the way. And subconsciously, you're saying, no, I don't. I won't be a good person. And the universe can only match what we send out. So the universe goes, okay, I hear you do, and I hear you don't at the same time. I'll just sit here till you decide.
What proportion of your time would you say you spend on channeling as opposed to acting? Is it an 80-20 split, a 60-40 split? Or
well, that's the only way I do act, is channel. Yeah, I never break a script down, ever. I didn't ever decide what I was going to do in ET. I was in the moment and allowed Mary to tell me what to do. For example, the big dinner table scene.
Right.
Where I look at Elliot and say, well, why don't you tell your father? Yeah. And he says, I can't. He's in Mexico with Sally.
Right.
And I felt, as Mary, all these tears coming up. And I thought, oh, I don't want the kids to see me cry. So I got up and left. When Stephen finally yelled cut, he came over to me and he said, Dee, why did you get up and leave? That's not in the script. And I told him what happened. And he looked at me and he turned to the crew and he said, guys, you've got 30 minutes. Build me another wall in the kitchen with a sink with running water. So he could take me over to the sink and bring me back in to that big close-up where I say he hates Mexico.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Now that's when the magic really happens on a set.
And that was just all you feeling the moment and surfing it, right?
Yeah. And him trusting me. And, it takes a great director to see the magic of a moment that's happening that we don't expect and expand on it. Yeah. Peter Jackson did the same thing. Blake Edwards. I thank God that I got, as my first really big director, Blake Edwards.
Oh, wow.
Work with.
And what was the project that you?
10 with Bo Derek.
Oh, you were in 10. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was Mary Lewis, the girl at the bar that Dudley takes to bed and can't get it up with.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, it's been a long time since I saw the film, but and Peter Jackson, what movie
The
did you do?
The Frighteners.
Oh, wow.
With Michael J. Fox. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Canadian Michael J. Fox. God bless him. I want to move on because, again, in addition to your acting career and your writing career, you're also a teacher, which is something I relate to. I'm a certified teacher. I taught for 25 years for the
What did you teach?
I taught English and a bit of drama, and that. You too?
Yeah.
What level? What like seniors or kids?
9th and 10th grade. Theater.
I taught at the high school level, and then and I haven't been doing that for a number of years because I launched something called Shakespeareans, which is a charitable nonprofit that goes into schools demystifying Shakespeare. But you teach. Have I got that right? You also coach actors. You teach acting.
Oh yeah, I had the largest acting studio in LA for about 18 years. Wow. I don't have it anymore. I don't do it anymore. I do private coaching if somebody calls me at home.
Right.
But I spend most of my time when I'm not shooting doing private sessions, channeling for people.
So if a young actor would have come to you for advice, and I think maybe we've already touched upon this, but just in the teaching context, came to you for advice about surviving and thriving in the industry, does it go back to whatever you put out? I mean, are there any other things from that?
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Every young actor that I've ever worked with wants to go in and give them what they want. What they want is for you to come in and be your honest self within the role. That's what they want. I can't tell you how many roles I've done, and then when I get on the set, they'll say something like, "Oh my God, Dee, we never saw it that way."
Yeah.
You know, it's like me laughing at penis breath in E.T.
Yeah.
That just came out, you know, it was improv.
Following the impulse. Yeah.
Yeah. That's channeling.
Yeah. That's channeling. Yeah.
Sure.
Being in the moment. Like, can we just open up this because you seem to be quite excited and quite committed to it. How would you channeling and being in the moment, being alive, is that the same thing, or are we talking about two different things there?
Oh no, I think there are a lot of people that are alive and dead at the same time.
Okay.
But when you're really in the moment, you're in the heart space, not the mind space. You see, our minds are created to doubt and question.
Yep.
Your heart knows. So when I have a character like in Cujo, where he's crying and screaming, "I want my daddy, I want my daddy," and I grab him and I say, "All right, I'll get you your father." And they came to me the next day and they went, "Oh my God, Dee, it's such a powerful scene, but we're afraid the audience won't like you for yelling at your son.
Jeez.
Will you watch it?" Now, I never watch my stuff when I do it, but I said, okay. And I went back to them and I said, "Guys, if you cut that out, you're crazy." There is not a parent in the world that has not felt that emotion. And so they left it in, and it was the most reviewed positively scene in the movie.
Of course.
It's truth. You've got, that's all I ask of my instrument is to be truthful. No matter what my mind thinks, is it truthful to my heart?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an acting coach here in the Toronto area myself, and I'm constantly reading and trying. And what you just said, I mean, I pull these notes. I'm constantly reading, and if I had $1 for in this computer every time, Laurence Olivier and Michael Caine, truth, 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 it all comes back to just playing something truthful on camera and sharing with an audience some aspect of the human condition.
I remember there was a scene in Cujo. When I'm not in the right space, I feel like there's bugs crawling all over me. And we got to this scene, and Louis Teague, our director, had thrown out some things. And the more we did the scene, the more bugs started crawling all over me. And I said, I need a 15-minute break. And I went and called Charles Conrad, my acting teacher.
Right.
And his secretary said, oh my God, he's teaching. I can't pull him out. I said, it's an emergency. Ask him if he'll talk to me.
Okay.
And he came on, he said, Wallace, what do you want? I said, Charles, I'm doing the lead in this very big film, and it's all gone so seamlessly and effortlessly. And now I'm in this scene and I can't find it. It's just not there. He didn't even take a beat. He said, what's your idea? And I went, oh my God.
Mm.
He hit it, because something that my director said had given me an idea, and I was trying to get Donna to do that idea. Donna didn't want to do that idea.
Right.
That's not what was going on with Donna.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to the set and I said, okay, we're good to go now. Mm-hmm. We got it in one take.
Yeah. Your acting coach, Charles Gordon, you said?
Charles Conrad.
Conrad.
Yeah.
An actor? Did he ever do any acting himself? No.
No. He started out in New York teaching the Meisner method. And then it just morphed into his own. He was very much into energy.
Okay. Is that where you picked up the channeling and the energy? Yeah.
That's a lot of
it started there?
information about energy, where it started. Yeah. And when I actually started channeling, I went, oh my God, this is what I do in my acting. I know this. I know how to trust this.
Yeah.
You know? So that's what they mean, I think, when they say God works in mysterious ways. You know, everything in my life came together to make one solid whole in everything I did. Like I said, we were very poor growing up. My dad was an alcoholic. Mm. And yet an incredibly innovative man. He created the first discount store in America.
Oh, wow.
And so I was surrounded by creativity, and I lived in the midst of extreme drama. So I had a good background of emotional availability.
Excellent. Excellent. I think we're going to take just a brief commercial break. And then I've got, I want to follow up because I've got a question that I'm really keen to hear how
Sure.
you respond. But we'll take a short commercial break and be right back after this short break. My gosh, Brad Pitt. No, that was me. Oh my gosh. That was Brad Pitt for a second there. So yes, as that little clip revealed, I'm also an acting coach myself.
Yeah.
I want to ask you though, this is really a question that confounds me, and I'm so keen to hear what you have to say. I graduated from the National Theatre School of Canada probably before you were born. And what I want to ask you is, like, the industry is changing in so many profound and like tectonic, like earthquake changing ways. How do you suggest young performers or even older performers adapt and adjust to all of the changes that are just seeming to come at us like almost day by day? Especially maybe, especially for women, women and maybe younger actors. Let's really focus on those two groups if we can.
Well, my answer to you, again, look at your belief systems. Guys, that's all there is in the world is change. That's all there is. So you either adapt and go, okay, this is what I have to work with now. How can I? How can I make this work for me? I hear every day, my God, you have 10 films coming out, Dee. How can you work so much as an older woman?
Yes. How?
And I say, because I have no belief systems that I can't. So again, what do you believe? Are you looking for the limitations? Are you looking for reasons to give yourself limitations? What if there weren't any limitations? Then there would be no excuses, would there?
Yeah.
And I think too, it's really important to hear what my channel has to say. Whatever you want, love it more. Don't judge it. Don't be in fear of it. Don't limit it. Love it. Do you love to act? Do you love to share it with everybody? When I read Cujo and I read E.T., I went, oh, please let me bring these characters to life. Wow, I can really move people. And to this day, I constantly hear how my films change people's lives. And Did I answer your question?
Yeah. A couple of threads to pick up there. First of all, as the clip suggested, I'm offering a class on September the 20th, a one-day intensive. Anybody who comes to that class, and by the way, you get a discount if you mention that you sat in on this interview. But no, the reason I'm talking about this, I have a clip, George Clooney, and I just pulled it off Facebook, and he was talking about the technological changes. And I'm thinking for the longest time, I've been thinking for the last year or two, my God, with AI and all the technological changes, how are actors gonna thrive and prosper and work in future? And
have you ever seen a clip of actors that aren't actors and they're by AI? Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah, there's no soul.
Yeah.
There's no consciousness.
Yeah.
I don't think, in my belief system, that's ever going to happen. If it does, I'm going to keep acting anyway.
That is great.
See, and whatever you put your attention on, Marvin, you create more of. So worry is a negative prayer. I want you to hear that.
Yeah.
When we worry about something, we are literally praying for what we don't want, because that is what our attention is on.
Well, the good news, again, Mr. Clooney, I think, is a very bright guy. I very much respect and admire.
I do too.
He does. He says the industry is evolving, it's changing, it's morphing, but he says, as you do, there's always going to be a place for actors. We just have to adapt, and we've been doing that since the movie industry started. I mean, from silent film to talkies, they went from talkies. So there's constantly these new developments, and we just simply have to adapt. And go ahead, sorry, go.
And that's pretty much the description of life.
Yeah.
It's true. Acting is just a microcosm of life.
Yeah.
And my channel said 2 years ago, adaptation is the most important word for the next few years.
Yeah.
How much can you adapt?
That's for sure. Yeah. TikTok, Mr. Bialystok, I cannot function under these conditions. TikTok, the pressure of time. There's two questions I really want to run by you. We've just sort of touched on one of the two that I want to wind up with. And the first one is, yes, the role of acting. David Mamet says that art is not a frill, it's a need. And I'm wondering, like, what I tell my students is that, I think to a large extent, audiences do not go to a theater, a movie theater or a live theater, or watch you on their TV screens to see you. In a sense, I think they watch dramas to see themselves through you. And you can agree or disagree, but what I'm really interested in is where you see the role of the actor being in society, in the community.
Touching hearts.
Yeah.
Touching lives.
Telling truths.
Yeah. That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
Whether it's a horror film or E.T. or a Hallmark special, whatever it is, I just bring my heart and let the character tell me where to go.
Yeah.
Cujo to me was never a horror film. It was a film about how far a mother's love would go to keep their kids safe.
And these same themes that, an Italian actor, concentration camp, and he won the Oscar. Beautiful Life, is that what it's called? The Beautiful Life? Yeah. And again, these same themes, they just keep, in different stories, but the same universal themes, what a parent will do to for his child. Yeah, it's these same recurring themes that we're exploring over and over again in different narratives, but it all comes back to the
Because
same.
we're trying to understand life. We're trying to understand ourselves.
Yeah.
And, the world really needs to live, E.T.
Yeah.
Open your heart. Don't judge. Accept. Help. It's so simple. We've seen these messages from time immemorial. Peter Pan, think happy thoughts and
Yes.
you fly.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz, you had the power all along, Dorothy. You're the creator of you.
Yeah.
E.T., keep your heart open and you get home.
Yeah.
They're so simple.
Yeah.
But we have to live them.
And the best. I think, and again, free to agree or disagree, but I don't think we make this journey alone as people or as artists. We rely on families, we rely on friends, we rely on mentors. And I have had some wonderful teachers over the course of my acting and teaching career. I'm wondering about yours. You mentioned your acting coach, you mentioned your grandmother. I'm wondering if there were perhaps others, maybe directors, maybe actors, whatever, or friends, or anything that you're prepared to share. How did they impact on you? You can either discuss what you've already discussed, the people you've already talked about, or were there any others maybe that you want to share?
My first guest star role was with Angie Dickinson.
Oh, wow.
In Policewoman. And I will never forget, on the first day, I had this very emotional scene. And we did the close-up and the director said, great, we're moving on. And I said, I would really like another one, please.
Whoa.
And he looked at me and he said, Dee, it was great. We really need to move on. And Angie stepped forward and said, Dee is one of our lead actors. If she needs another take, we need to give it to her.
Wow.
And so he did. And he came up to me afterwards and he said, I've got to say, it was better.
Huh.
But I never forgot that. And I've always passed that on every set that I'm starring on, to support my fellow actors in what they need and what they know from their character. Now, if they want to do 25, probably not. But I just always loved Angie for doing that for me, and for showing me how to come forward for other people on your set. I think that's really important.
Yeah, there are no people like show people, as the song goes. Some of them are just so incredibly wonderful.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, and some not, maybe.
Well, that's life, isn't it?
It sure is. Gosh, again, I can't remember. I think the number was 290 roles. Are there any roles, and maybe you can't discuss them, if you can, if you can't, you can't, any roles maybe that you've turned down that you thought, maybe I should have taken that, or any roles that you didn't get that you thought, oh my gosh, I wish I could have played that?
Yeah, I just auditioned for The Pit, which is one of my favorite shows.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's so
it was a recurring guest star and I didn't get it.
Unbelievable. Are they crazy?
I don't know. Everybody write in. I also, oh gosh, Ron Howard's first movie.
The Splash, the mermaid thing?
I think Shelley was in it and she played a hooker. And they asked me, and I just didn't feel right about playing a hooker back then.
Okay.
Now I've done, how many hookers? So
Okay.
many. But most of the roles that I regret, I've been doing another project and couldn't get out to do them.
Yeah. I had an actor friend he was doing a series, and he was offered a role, but they wouldn't let him out of the series. And he was walking around New York in tears because the timing just didn't work out. That happens if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Or unlucky, I guess. It's just part of the business. He retired a number of years ago now, and I'm so sorry he did. We had a wonderful television critic here in Toronto. His name was John Doyle, wrote for the Globe and Mail. And he was on a soapbox and wrote more than one column about how movies were no longer where the central focus of storytelling was, in terms of in front of the camera. You talk about The Pit, we can talk about Succession, we can talk about The Diplomat, we can talk about like all these streaming shows. How do you feel about acting for movies versus acting for television, especially now that the streaming services?
I don't give a shit. I just want to act.
You just want to act.
I want to act in good projects with parts that excite me and nice people.
Well, that sounds great to me.
See, and if you're going to create what you want, you've got to be clear about what you want.
Right.
And let me tell you, most people aren't.
Yes, I think
I can tell you, if I do 40 private sessions a week, I can bet at least 30 of them I'll go, okay, what do you want? Oh, well, gee.
I continue to teach on-camera classes out of a studio here in Toronto, and so often what you will see is actors trying to be their best Brad Pitt or George Clooney, or not themselves. Going back to what you talked about earlier on, they're trying to give the camera what they think the camera wants, instead of just being them and just letting it all rip, right?
Yeah. Being them and letting the character, thank you, Kelly, and letting the character take you over.
Right.
That's such a high for me.
Oh, yeah.
When the character just takes me over and tells me what to do.
Hey,
before I forget it, I want to invite everybody. I'm going to be at Frightmare on the Falls in Niagara Falls.
Oh, wow. When?
Well, I don't know when.
Tell Charlene. Tell Charlene,
and
we'll get. I'm not that far from Niagara Falls. Maybe I'll swing by and meet you in person.
Okay, that'd be great.
That'd be wonderful. And so, is that like a convention or?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. And how many? Like, do you get hundreds, thousands of people to these things, or like what? How do they work?
People
Thousands
move through. Yeah, and this is a great one. I've done it in the past years. It's a really great convention.
Niagara Falls on the American side, of course. And like, is it in a convention hall or something?
No, it's in Niagara Falls, Ontario. Yeah.
In Ontario?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I may say, do you remember me? We did that online.
And I'll say, you bet I do.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. You live in Los Angeles. I remember I lived in Los Angeles from 82 to 86. And I never met Reuben Cannon, but I did some work down there. And I remember my agent at the time saying, he was good enough to sit down with my overprotective father and say, there's a ceiling here in Canada. But there it is on the screen there. What we're talking about.
Thank you for pulling that up.
There's a ceiling, and so he said, Marvin's got to go to LA, but I think in 2025, almost 2026, agree or disagree, you can live anywhere, and with the technology and the self-taping going on, you can carve out a career and be based anywhere. Or do you still need to be New
No,
York?
I think you need to be where the action is.
You do need to be down there.
Once you're established, you might be able to live everywhere.
Right.
Anywhere.
Right.
But Podunk, Iowa, not going to have very many opportunities for you.
Right. Right.
And to get an agent from Podunk, Iowa, when you don't have any of your work,
right.
You haven't done your work yet, and you don't have film on you, that's a pretty big challenge. That's why my mother looked at me and said, Dee, go ahead and be an actress, but do it in Kansas. I said, it ain't going to work, Mom. Not going to, I could do local commercials,
Yeah,
which I did as a young girl in Kansas. But if you want to go all the way, you got to go where the action is.
We are speaking in the middle of the Toronto International Film Festival. How do you have any thoughts about production in Canada? Because there's a fair bit here now.
Yeah.
And I think film is going and television is moving much more internationally. There was that big Netflix hit about the people who are playing in the game and Game of Life, and I'm having a senior moment, can't remember the name of it, but a South Korean series or something. It was a huge hit. But what do you think about Squid Game? Squid Game, yes, thank you so much.
Well, first of all, I love working in Canada. I've worked in Canada. I love the Canadian people. And I wish, I'm going to say it, I'm hoping that the people in Canada are not judging us by our political stature right now in this country. And the Toronto Film Festival is an incredible film festival. I've attended it with my own movies and just because I wanted to several times in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that creative people don't allow politics to get in the way.
Yeah. You talked about writing, you're channeling books and stuff. Have any other aspects, and pardon my ignorance if you already have, but directing, writing, does any of that, have you done any of that? Does that appeal to you at all?
Oh, I've directed stage. Yeah, I've directed stage performances. But quite honestly, I watch at all the BS politically that goes on with the suits and everything, and get oftentimes in the way of the creative. I have no desire to be on that side.
Fair enough. And what about there's a question. Yeah, I was just going to ask that, Kelly. What do you do outside of acting and coaching? What else are you what
else do I have time for?
Oh, wow. Sure.
Well, I'm writing my latest book, which is called Horror Stories from the Life in Horror Films.
Oh, wow.
Because the stories that go on behind the scenes are sometimes a lot worse than the drama you see in front of the camera. So that's my latest venture. I love to go dancing.
Oh, wow.
And my biggest pastime now is I have a beautiful, incredible 2-year-old grandson. And I put time aside when I'm home. I put hour and a half or 2 hours every day aside. He calls me Mama Dee Dee.
Oh,
And
nice.
he loves to come to Mama Dee Dee's house because Mama Dee Dee never says no.
Well, of course. The
I
grandparents never say
spoil
no.
him. I introduced him to popsicles.
Oh my gosh.
And now the first place he goes as soon as he walks in is the
Freeze.
refrigerator. Yeah.
That's great. And so if you have a grandson, you have children, any other family members attached to the business at all? No? Yes?
Oh, yes. My daughter, Gabrielle Stone,
Oh,
acted. It's won a lot of awards for her short films. Written 2 best-selling books, Eat, Pray, #FML,
right.
and The Ridiculous Adventures of a Single Girl. Fabulous books, helping a lot of men and women across the world. So, and my son-in-law is an actor. We've done a short film together, 2 short films together. Also teaches acting.
Oh, nice.
Out here. So yeah, it's kind of in the fam. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we've gone a little over our hour because you are just so charming and full of stuff, and you've had
full of stories, huh?
stories and had such a great career. But we want to thank you for joining us and sharing your insights and your journey. Your stories, your dedication to your craft, your passion clearly for what you do and empowering others has made this just such a special conversation. And from iconic films like E.T. and Cujo, your continued work as an actress, as an actor, author, healer, you continue to inspire like generations of fans and fellow artists. So we're so grateful for your time today. We look forward to seeing you in more projects so you can increase that. I think that's a record, 290 parts. So just keep it going. Like Wayne Gretzky, whoever thought anybody was going to break his goal scoring record, but the Russian guy did. But you keep working so that nobody can break your record.
Hey, I just want to keep working because I love it.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in everything that you might be doing in future. We hope you will join us tomorrow here at Entertainment 411. A couple of members of the original cast of Little House on the Prairie are going to be joining you.
Nice.
Be joining me. My name is Marvin Karen. Thanks for watching Entertainment 411. Dee, a pleasure and an honor.
I've had a ball. Thank you.
Bye for now.